So, Chris, thank you for joining us today here at the Nerdy Basement. I'm glad that we're going to be talking about Demon at Dawn. And it would have been awesome to have both of you because having both sides of the story would be super
Awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Um, but
So brilliant.
wanted to ask you because the film brings so much s- story potential that it's really interesting that there's certain things that there's not that much detail, so you can let your imagination like
Yeah,
go crazy, I would say.
that's
But
it.
what inspired you, to write this film?
I mean, I've always loved like folk horror films as a subgenre. So the Wicker Man, Wishfinder General, these sort of movies always inspired me as a kid. And in Demons of Dawn, I mean, we touch upon obviously demonology and mythology. Um, so I was trying to explore those themes in the movie, um, but also obviously I love the horror genre, but I also love traditional thrillers as well. So the film starts off as like a gangster movie, and then halfway through it turns into, I guess, a sort of like a siege horror movie, like Assault on Precinct 13 or Dog Soldiers, for example. But obviously we've got demons instead of werewolves. But yeah, so I like the idea of having that little twist halfway through, a bit like Just Till Dawn, if that makes sense. Just take the
Okay.
audience down one route and then just surprise them a little bit. And obviously the film gets darker and darker as we go along. Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It does really get really like everything pans out like you mentioned as a mobster film
yeah,
or and then everything changes and shifts to like very I would say I wouldn't say HP Lovecraft because you still have your characters with kind of less sanity and everything, but
yeah,
you have that cultist and evil running through the world. So it's like it makes it very
yeah.
interesting.
It's
So uh-huh.
yeah. No, none of the characters can be trusted 100%. Um, they're all leading double lives in a lot of ways. There's a lot of betrayal there. Um, so yeah, it was an interesting screenplay to write. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
No, I can imagine. So, how was working with Randy? Because you are the writer, and as well, Randy would be your the director of the film. So,
Yeah.
how was it working with Randy? Did you work with him hand in hand while filming?
Yeah, I mean, Randy, it's an interesting story because my first feature way back was called Nest of Vampires. So I started a production company back in about 7 years ago.
Okay.
So I started crowdfunding for short films first of all. I think I raised about £800 the first one, and now we're raising like $100,000 in 6 weeks because it's taken me that long to build that audience over the time there. But Hans Hernke was one of the main actors in my first movie called Nest of Vampires, and he's close friends with Randy. So
Okay.
that's how that sort of working relationship started. Um, I was like in my other features, I was directing, I was producing, I was writing the scripts, I was casting, doing everything. And I just I wanted to bring someone else on board to do the directing to take the pressure off me a little bit. And Hans suggested Randy, and I looked at his show reel, and we got along really well. So it was a bit of a no-brainer, really. And obviously, he loves the horror genre as well. So we flew him over, and yeah, he's going to be filming. He's going to be directing my next one as well in January. So it's all
Oh,
good. Yeah, he's a good
that's
guy.
amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's great. So my next question would be you as well being the writer, you as well as one of the key characters on the film. So how does it feel that besides the fact that you wrote the script, you are part of the film as well?
yeah. I mean, I always. I mean, I've done a few roles before, and um, obviously, I don't want to give myself a lead role. That'd be too much. So I thought an interesting little cameo, um, and that character really sort of encapsulates the whole mood of the film because he's the go-between. He's the guy, who's heading up this ring of Satanists, and he's heavily involved in human sacrifice and human trafficking. So it was a really fun character to play. Obviously, he's the bad guy, he's the evil guy. So yeah, they're always the best, most fun roles to play. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because
I wrote myself a nice, cool little
your
role there. So, yeah.
your character is the guy that you call.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. I'm the go-to guy.
Yes, I
You want
did
something
like
sorted out? Just give me a ring, man. It's cool.
I did like that there's a scene that it caught me off guard because I thought that, you know, when we first see your character, I was like off the bat, I'm like, oh yeah, he's the one that you call when you need something.
Yeah.
And then when you see him find the final act, he goes ahead and he turns as well to a
Yeah.
demon. And I was like,
It was a lot of fun with
wait, what?
that.
He's part of it too?
Yeah.
It
It's
was
a lot.
really interesting.
There's a lot of little interesting twists and turns. I wanted to keep the audience guessing all the time. So obviously the second half of the movie, we have new characters show up and you're not quite sure what's going to happen next. And that was important to me because I wanted to obviously just keep the audience entertained as long as possible. And yeah, my character was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a really fun role to shoot. We had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah.
So Chris, how was it? How were location scouting and the on-set experience while shooting the film?
This was the best shoot that I've been on in terms of working with the crew and the cast. Everyone got along, no drama, and they're all coming back for the next one. So yeah, in terms of the location scouting, the guy who owns the cottage down in Devon, he's one of the actors as well, a guy called Jimmy Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a beautiful location. We're right in the heart of the Devonshire countryside. So especially with like independent films, you get to use like all that countryside for free. It's, you know, you make the most of that. And yeah, it was, you know, shooting a horror movie in the middle of winter in England. It's my dream. It's fantastic. You can't get any better than that. With all these guys who all want the same thing to make the best film possible. It's a great experience. And yeah, a lot of great memories. So yeah, it was good.
That's amazing. So I do have, I'll probably put you thinking on this question because, and I'll go ahead and double down with my next question because it's basically in the same scene. So in the scene that you see one of the characters' sister, and you see like all the cultists doing their seances and doing their thing. Each one turns to like a different demon.
Yeah.
By any chance, because you know in folklore we have a lot of different, you know, named demons. We have Abaddon, we have Amon,
different levels. Yeah.
Exactly. So by any chance, do the demons that we see in the film, are they interconnected to like folklore per se, or are they just, you know, humans that turn into demons?
For me, the original idea, when what's called the Watchers, right? So you go to any major religion like Christianity or Islam, you have the story of beings coming down, sent down from heaven. You know, they mate with the women, and they create a race of giants, or demons. So that's where you get the stories, you know, in Norse mythology of Poseidon, etc. But obviously these are lower level demons. So that's where the idea came from. So yeah, they are all connected. Yeah, and it's all connected to folklore. So yeah, because that just fascinated me. Yeah.
No, yeah, because like when I saw the seance, and this is where my next question is, can you give us
what they're basically doing is that I'm going off throughout history, you have, you know, stories of cultures who use sacrifice to summon demons, right? And that gives them power, and that story's been around since, you know, forever. So that's where the real inspiration came for this film. So you have a group of Satanists who are, basically getting off on killing people and using that power, that fear, to summon demons. That's where the idea came from, I think, fundamentally. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the other thing that I would take in your film is that when we're reaching certain I would say like in the final act, and then when you see the
Yeah.
group of like I would say people that find the sacrifices
Yeah.
or whatnot. Um, these people are people in power. So you know, I
Yeah.
had this feeling that you just wanted to show that there's people in power that, you know, probably do these things. You know, no, I'm
Yeah,
not saying it happens.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, okay.
but
Yeah, we all know those. We all know that. We all know those stories. We all know those. You know, whether they're conspiracy theories or not. Who knows? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm
exactly.
having exactly. Who knows? You know, it's like I'm having a bit of fun with it, but I'm definitely. You're right. I'm playing into that that thinking, if that makes sense. But whether or not that's true, who knows? But you know, it's a fun. Well, it's not fun. Obviously, it's a serious subject. But in terms of a feature film, it's a fun. You know,
A fun
script writing, what that
concept.
is. Yeah.
Okay,
So you're
yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, all the main characters involved in that human trafficking ring are quite high up in the establishment or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm definitely playing into that.
No, yeah, I gotta
That
say
way of
that
thinking. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's amazing, like the points that you want to touch bases in regards to the topic, you know, and that's why it catches my eye completely.
Yeah, and I've got to be careful. I don't want to get knocked off or anything, mate. You know what I mean? I don't want to get a bullet in the back of my head, so I've got to be careful.
My other question would be, the scene where you have the seance and the cultist and everything. I did feel that that scene was a little bit much more longer because it
Yeah,
was a little bit much, you know, it was very quick. You know, it was a quick like take.
yeah.
Uh can you give us like a little bit much more detail on how you process this film? Not the film, I mean this scene, because I think that there was more to tell on that scene.
Yeah, 100%. It was on the night of the shoot, and this is one of the practical things we have to deal with. Like we planned that as a longer scene, and we had like a huge bonfire planned. But it was the last night of the shoot, and unfortunately the weather wasn't that fantastic. So that was one of the things that we had to scale down on a little bit at the very last day. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We got everything in the can, and yeah, there we go. It
No,
was still a lot of fun shooting that scene. It was good fun. It was good fun. When she gets her throat slit, and yeah,
no, yeah, like
that was fun.
the transitions from
Yeah,
from like humans to then going to demons, and then you seeing the effects added
yeah,
to the faces. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. I like this,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like
We
it
didn't want to
felt
play
that
it
there
too
was more.
serious. We wanted to, sort of nod and wink to the audience. We're not taking ourselves way too seriously here. We're having a bit of fun. But obviously, yeah, it works. It's fun. It's a cool little scene, and the actress who got killed, she was really cool as well. She had to sit out in the rain for ages, poor girl, and have a throat slit over and over again. So
Oh
credit
wow.
to her. Yeah. But the guy who did that, John Paul Gates, he's a great actor. He's got over like 200 credits to his name, and he had that authority, that presence to pull off that role. I think, as the main head of the cult, who does the old slicing of the necks and stuff. So
No, yeah,
yeah,
I got it. That scene, that's why it caught my eye, because I'm somebody that likes to that I dabble a lot in regards to like Lovecraftian lore. So that's
yeah,
why I'm like it interests me, because it is the same. Now I wouldn't say the same thing, but you know, HP Lovecraft
yeah,
works a lot with cultists and with cults and everything. So that's why it
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
catches my eye. Um
You have very
so
good taste in horror, my friend.
thank
Yeah,
you, thank you.
that's okay.
So I wanted to ask Chris, by any chance, do you have any other upcoming projects? I know that you mentioned something that is happening on January.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you can like provide us here
Oh,
at the Nerdy
absolutely.
Basement?
Yeah. You've set me off now. Fantastic. Here we go. So my next feature is called Werewolf Cabal, and that's coming out January. So that's just been finished, and that's got Vernon Wells from the Mad Max movies and the original Predator. Yeah, that's right. Um, we we've just finished a comedy horror called The Haunted Studio with Bailing who played Micah in the original Crow movie with Brandon Lee. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, my next one we're shooting in January is a folk horror film. It's called Bring Me a Skin for Dancing In. There's a great title there. And We're exploring witchcraft and paganism, and the relationship these themes have with the surrounding countryside. So I'm really looking forward to that. So again, think of like, you know, think about the Wicker Man or Witchfinder General. That's the tone we're going for. So yeah, I can't wait to do that. And Randy will be directing again. So it's gonna be a great collaboration going forward.
That these projects sound so good. I can't wait. Chris, like I gotta say your eye and your writing on like these type of like topics, or I would say hidden messages, are super extremely amazing. So
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
can't,
it.
can't wait for your next projects to come in. So I will be paying attention.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Chris, I want to give you a huge thanks for giving us the time like that
No
we
problem.
can fully interview and talk about Demon at Dawn. So okay, where can the people find you in social media?
Yeah, on Instagram it's Black Coppers Films. YouTube is Black Coppers Films. Type in Black Coppers Films anywhere, and you know, I'll
And
just
they can
pop up
find
and
you.
say hi. I'm here. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere.
Thank you very
But
much,
if you can
Chris.
leave us a great user review on IMDb Pro to your amazing audience, that'd be fantastic and much appreciated. So Demons at Dawn, Amazon Prime, Roku, Tubi TV, everywhere. There we go. Just
Everywhere.
everywhere. Amazing.
Thank you very much, Chris, for your time. And for everybody in the nerdy basement, we will see you in the next one. And thank you again, Chris.
I love you all. I love you all.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.